This is the Marion Police Department. What's going on? What's going on there?
She's bleeding really bad.
You say somebody's bleeding?
Yes, my mom.
What happened to Mommy?
I don't know. I don't know. We was sleeping. Me and my brother. And I heard her screaming. And then he was beating her up and slapping her and
Is she still there? 2210 South Home Ave.
and punching her.
Is she still there?
He's trying to get in. Mom, no! Mom, no! No!
She's there. Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I've got officers there on the scene, okay? I got police officers there, okay?
Yeah. There's blood everywhere.
Okay, the ambulance is on the way.
Okay.
Do you see the officer at the door yet?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna let you go, okay? Okay, they've got him handcuffed.
Yeah.
Okay, you were really brave, okay? I'm gonna let you go.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Dead asleep at night. Had to go to work the next morning for something. It was something during the summer. I had to go for a couple hours. Woke up with him on top of me, arms around my neck, where I couldn't say anything. So I'm gonna kill you, bitch. And I remember looking up, I couldn't say anything, and he had me straddled where I couldn't do anything. I tried to kick and move, and I'm a pretty strong person. I remember kicking and trying to get away, and I couldn't, and I couldn't breathe, and I'm thinking, my daughter's going to grow up without a mother. He's going to kill me. I can't even speak. She's helpless, and I can't do anything about it. And it scared me to death. Not being able to take a breath, and it's almost like you're underwater. You're trying to swim up and catch a breath, and you can't. And how he had my hands, I remember not being able to even get his hands out, and then I kneed him, and I must have hit him right in the right spot because I got up, and then he just started in with the hitting and the stuff, and I slept in the bathroom that night because I locked the door so he couldn't get in.
We went to game night, and some people were playing cards. Well, I was supposed to sit there and learn to play cards, but another group was playing a game that I really wanted to play. It was word games. And the lady who did the kind of organized the games, I didn't realize at the time, but the people in the building had been watching me. That's another thing. I'd been isolated from my family, from my friends, but those wonderful people in that building didn't let me go. They stood back, but they watched what was going on, and they knew. And she said to me in front of him, she said, I have another one of these games up in my apartment. Do you want to go up with me and get it? I said, sure. Well, there was not much he could say. I had not been out of his sight for almost 3 months.
At first, I wanted to stay, and I thought I could save my marriage because my children needed a father. And every time the abuse happened, I forgave and went back. He's apologized. It wouldn't happen again, and it got worse every time. Every time it happened, it got worse than the other. Where he threatened me with a gun, my life, and that was the draw for me. I'm like, this is it, because one day somebody might come home in my family and found me shot to death, and it could have been avoided.
Our son Shannon, who was 30 years old, was murdered while sitting at a patio talking to a family friend whose marriage had suddenly turned very violent the week before.
And then with me, I was like, is my daughter going to grow up without a mother, or is my daughter going to grow up without a father? But if I don't do something about it, then she's going to grow up without both, because he's going to be in prison for killing me. And then I'm going to be dead.
He would want me to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and go out and have coffee on the patio. Well, this morning I got up and he laid a letter. He had written a letter down on the table. He said, read this. When you agree to this, you can come out. So he went out and I read the letter and I just stood there. It was just, I have the letter. It's unbelievable. It started out with, I am the man of this house. And went on to tell me I was to cook, I was to clean, he would do as he pleased, and he ended the letter with, I am the man of this house, you are my wife. He came back in, and I looked at him and I said, you've got to be out of your freaking mind.
Well, the night before, Thursday night, she went out to Swayze to be with a friend. Her husband had contacted her earlier in the evening saying that he was going to commit suicide. And she left just to get away from the whole thing, I guess. She ended up texting my son several times, and he ended up going out there, I think about 1 a.m. that Friday morning. From what we understand, the husband got out there about 4 a.m. and stood behind a tree and watched them for about 2 hours.
He drove me to get my hair cut, he drove me to the store, drove me my car. I've been alone for 28 years taking care of myself. But wasn't that, well, there wasn't much he could say in front of all those people. So I went with her and she said, are you okay? And I just broke down. I said, I am, excuse me, deep shit. That's or very, very big trouble. She said, we know. She said, we know. She said, do you want me to put you in touch with Bobby at Hands of Hope? I said, oh, it was such a relief because I knew I had to go. Had no money. I have 2 grandsons in town, but I couldn't go to their homes and put them in jeopardy because I saw what this man was capable of. I didn't know what he would do, but I knew what he was capable of. And I couldn't put them in jeopardy. So I didn't know what I was going to do. When she said that, it was just like such a relief.
And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. You have to find the help, whether it be from family or community service, to get out. I am now free of him over 15 years or more, and I'm happy that I made that choice to step out of it. It took a lot of hard work and planning, but I am a lot happier person. My children are happier. The children will suffer through the abuse, and for me and especially my eldest daughter, her witnessing that, she in turn was involved in domestic abuse because it was something that she's witnessed her young life. And it is not worth your children's happiness or your happiness, but the best thing to do is to seek help and get out. Now I am happy. I don't have to worry about watching my back or fearing for my life or my children's life. And he is out of the picture, and my kids are happier, and so am I.
Yeah, when I first come on in 1980 as a patrol officer, we would respond to domestic violence calls and situations, and basically had been trained that there was not a lot that you could do at the time, that your whole purpose was to intervene to a point of hopefully getting one of the parties to separate and go somewhere else, for a cool down period. That you know, that it was left, that you know, it was a family problem within the family, and you were there to try to keep the peace and calm things down and try to get one of the parties, usually the male or something, to maybe go find some other place to go to cool off until they could come back together calmly, talk, work out their problems, and continue on their life.
A lot of times with the effects on children, you'll see is that unfortunately it's a cycle, that if the children grow up into an abusive home, chances are they may be abusers later in life, or if the female children, they could be more cultural to be victims, because they saw their mother growing up in this and they see that as the way to be. What we try to do is break that cycle, to let them know that they do not have to be growing up into that kind of culture, that they do not have to be victims, and they do not have to be victimized.
And over the years, that has become a lot better with obviously advocates, things like that. New laws have come into play and stuff, and have given law enforcement a lot of different tools to use in trying to break that cycle of the family violence, domestic violence. You know, it was in the later 80s and things that we started getting the domestic battery laws and things where you could make an arrest with the physical evidence and information that you'd gathered at the scene, and that you did not have to actually see the offense as an officer.
We take a very tough approach to domestic violence. We train our police officers in it. They don't like it. They're going to take a hard stance against it. And as a community, we're going to keep bringing it to the forefront and call people out, if you will, and because that's the only way you can get rid of it. So please join us and help us eradicate something that shouldn't be in our community.
Within the state of Indiana, if the victim has been battered or there's been some crime occurred, she will not be the one filing charges. We will not place that on her. That is our job. We will file charges, and we will make sure the suspect realizes that she's not the one that files charges. Sometimes these victims, they do not want to file because they feel like they'll be victimized later on. We will take the necessary steps to file those and not try to put the burden on them to file those charges against the suspect.
You know, growing up as a young child in a trailer court, at Atkins Trailer Court, everybody lived really close together, and you saw a lot of things and heard a lot of things, and at that time of your life you don't really quite understand what's going on, and as you get older you do, and you think back to those times and some of the things that your friends were going through, and the things that you would see during that. But you know, you can get out of those situations, and even though in our house we didn't have those situations, but we had friends that we played with every day that would sometimes spend the night at our house because of things going on at their location. And so I think the important message is that you can move forward and get out of those situations. But it's something that's stuck with me for a long time, and now as the mayor, we want to make sure that we have the ability to try and eradicate this, what I call the coward's crime, in our community.